tired of restless nights, unlock the primal path to deep sleep with sounds that have been forgotten for millennia. This unique soundscape transports you to an ancient world where the focus and sensory awareness of tracking formidable creatures like saber-toothed cats become your personal lullaby, guiding you to a state of profound relaxation. Close your eyes and let the modern world fade away as we journey back through the mists of time to a prehistoric era where the rhythm of life was dictated by the subtle symphony of nature and survival. Imagine yourself nestled in the dim glow of a cave, the air thick with the ancient scent of earth and smoke, as we explore the hidden sounds that shape the daily existence of our distant ancestors. This is not a tale of grand adventures or heroic deeds, but a gentle immersion into the quiet auditory world of cave dwellers, where every rustle and echo carried meaning. Tonight, on Boring History for Sleep, we uncover the lost soundscape of prehistoric life, allowing these faint whispers from the past to lull you into relaxation. As you settle in, feel the weight of the day lift from your shoulders, replaced by the soothing cadence of history unfolding at its own unhurried pace. Today, we take our modern ears and transport them millennia into the past, to a world defined by sounds you've never truly heard. Picture the vast expanse of time stretching back to the Paleolithic era around 40,000 years ago, when early humans sought shelter in natural caves scattered across Europe, Asia, and Africa. These caves, formed by the slow dissolution of limestone over eons, provided not just protection from the elements but a unique acoustic environment that amplified every small noise into something significant. The dwellers, our Homo sapiens forebears, lived in small bands of hunters and gatherers, their lives intertwined with the natural world in ways we can scarcely comprehend today. In this silent yet vibrant realm, the absence of mechanical hums or digital beeps allowed the purest forms of sound to dominate. From the drip of water to the crackle of fire, each one a thread in the fabric of survival. Caves themselves were alive with subtle reverberations, their walls echoing the faintest movements and creating a sense of enclosure that was both comforting and vigilant. Early humans chose these sites for their strategic advantages, often near water sources or game trails. The acoustics could serve as an early warning system against predators or intruders. Archaeological evidence from sites like Lascaux in France or Altamira in Spain reveals how these spaces were not mere shelters but canvases for expression, with paintings that might have been accompanied by ritualistic chants or drum-like beats on stone. Yet, in the everyday, it was the ordinary sounds that prevailed, grounding the dwellers in their immediate reality and fostering a deep attunement to their surroundings. As we delve deeper, allow these imagined echoes to wash over you, blurring the line between wakefulness and the gentle pull of sleep. Life in these prehistoric times was a constant interplay between silence and sound, where the quietude of the cave amplified the importance of auditory cues for navigation, communication, and safety. Without the clutter of contemporary noise pollution, cave dwellers developed acute hearing, capable of discerning the subtle differences between a harmless breeze and the approach of a saber-toothed tiger. This heightened sensitivity was essential in an era before written language, where sounds conveyed stories, warnings, and emotions across the group. The caves, with their irregular chambers and stalactites, created natural resonators that could turn a whisper into a murmur, or a footstep into a distant rumble. In this way, the auditory landscape was as much a part of their culture as the tools they crafted or the art they etched into the walls. We begin our exploration by acknowledging the profound quiet that enveloped these ancient lives, a silence broken only by the organic orchestra of existence. Modern reconstructions based on ethnographic studies of contemporary hunter-gatherer societies suggest that prehistoric soundscapes were sparse but meaningful, allowing for moments of introspection amid the demands of survival. The absence of constant chatter or machinery meant that sounds carried weight, often signaling food, danger, or companionship in an otherwise unforgiving world. As you listen to this narration, envision yourself there, the cool stone beneath still and expectant, ready for the first notes of this timeless symphony to unfold. Let this introduction serve as your gateway, easing you into the depths of history where every sound tells a story of resilience and adaptation. Now, as we settle into this auditory journey, consider how these sounds connect us to our ancestors, bridging the gap between their world and ours with threads of shared humanity. The prehistoric era, spanning from about 2.5 million years ago to around 10,000 BCE, saw the evolution of tool-making and fire use, each innovation accompanied by its own distinctive acoustics. Caves like Chauvet in France, its ancient bear scratches and human footprints preserved in clay, offer glimpses into the sonic past through the echoes that still linger in their chambers today. Researchers using acoustic archaeology recreate these environments, modeling how sounds traveled and influenced behavior in these spaces. In our modern comfort, it's easy to forget this primal connection, but tonight, we reclaim it gently, allowing the echoes to resonate within your mind as you drift closer to rest. The transition from our noisy present to this ancient quietude invites a sense of peace, reminding us that history's lessons are often found in the pauses between events. Prehistoric cave dwellers, facing ice ages and megafauna, relied on their senses to navigate a world of uncertainty, with sound as a reliable guide. Sites such as Blombos Cave in South Africa reveal artifacts like ochre crayons and shell beads, hinting at early symbolic thinking, perhaps expressed through vocalizations or rhythmic tapping. This auditory awareness fostered community bonds, as shared sounds around the fire reinforced social structures in small family groups. As we prepare to explore further, feel the rhythm of your own breathing align with the steady pace of this narrative, carrying you forward into the heart of the cave. Yet, even in this imagined silence, there is a subtle undercurrent of life, a prelude to the daily harmonies that sustained these early humans. Caves were not void of noise, but curated by nature, the geological features shaping how sounds propagated through the darkness. Evidence from bone flutes found in German caves suggests that music in its nascent form may have filled the spaces with melodic tones as far back as 35,000 years ago. Such instruments, crafted from bird bones or mammoth ivory, produced soft, haunting notes that could soothe or signal across distances. In this context, silence was a canvas, waiting for the brushstrokes of human activity to bring it to life. We must appreciate how this sonic minimalism contrasted with the visual dwellers' world was one of constant auditory dialogue with nature, where the crackle of thunder in the distance warned of approaching storms, urging preparations like reinforcing shelters or stockpiling resources. Rustles in the night might signify the movement of fellow humans or animals, fostering bonds through shared vigilance in the dim confines of the cave. Each echo carried stories of past events, perhaps the reverberation of a successful hunt or the mournful wail of loss, integrating emotion into the soundscape. This life demanded patience, as waiting for the right sound, be it the call of birds signaling dawn or the trickle of water indicating a nearby spring, shaped their nomadic patterns. The rhythm of their lives pulsed with these elements, creating a harmonious yet precarious existence that we can only imagine from our distant vantage. Yet, in moments of calm, these sounds offered solace, like the steady crackle of a fire that lulled the group into rest, its warmth sensing with the heartbeat of the community. Rustles from shifting positions in sleep reinforced the presence of kin, a comforting assurance against the isolation of the wild. Distant echoes might bring news from afar, such as the low rumble of herds migrating, prompting plans for future hunts. Survival was not merely enduring but thriving through this acoustic intuition, where every noise contributed to the collective knowledge passed down through generations. Allow this depiction to unfold slowly in your mind, easing you further into the prehistoric embrace. The interplay of rustle, crackle, and echo formed the backbone of decision-making, where a misplaced sound could alter the course of a day, emphasizing the dweller's deep connection to their surroundings. In tool-making, the rhythmic chipping sounds echoed survival's craftsmanship, each strike a step toward better implements for hunting or protection. During migrations, distant echoes guided paths through unfamiliar terrains, reducing risks in an era of megafauna and harsh climates. This sonic dependency cultivated resilience, as adapting to new soundscapes in different caves became second nature. The rhythm of their lives, marked by these auditory keys, invites us to appreciate the simplicity and profundity of prehistoric existence. Consider how these sounds influence social dynamics, with a shared rustle during storytelling sessions strengthening group cohesion. In the flickering light, crackles from cooking fires accompanied meals, turning sustenance into communal rituals that echoed with soft murmurs of satisfaction. Echoes in larger chambers might have been used for early forms of expression, like rhythmic tapping that predated music. Survival's edge was honed by this attentiveness, where ignoring a distant warning could lead to unforeseen challenges. As you ponder this, feel the gentle pull of history's quiet narrative. In adverse conditions, such as during ice ages, the muffled rustles under snow blanketed the world in a deceptive quiet, heightening the importance of every discernible sound. Crackles from breaking ice signaled potential hazards or water sources, critical in frozen landscapes. Echoes within insulated caves provided a stable auditory haven, contrasting the outer turmoil and offering psychological refuge. This life of sonic keys demanded endurance, as dwellers learned to distinguish between benign and threatening noises over time. The rhythm of their lives adapted seasonally, with sounds guiding hibernation like rests or active pursuits. The essence of this survival symphony lay in its subtlety, where a faint rustle could spark a chain of actions leading to safety or provision. Crackles from Immerse dying out prompted timely fuel additions, maintaining the life-giving fire through the night. Distant echoes of natural phenomena like cave-ins or animal calls shaped territorial choices and alliances with neighboring groups. These elements wove a tapestry of caution and opportunity, defining the prehistoric human experience. Let this understanding deepen your relaxation as we continue to explore. Over in reproductive and caregiving contexts, soft rustles of movement comforted the young, embedding early lessons in auditory awareness. Crackles during healing rituals, perhaps involving herbal preparations over fire, echoed hopes for recovery in times of illness. Echoes amplified lullabies or soothing tones, fostering bonds essential for group survival. This intricate web of sounds underscore the humanity in these ancient lives beyond mere existence. The rhythm of their lives pulsating with these cues remains a testament to adaptability. As we immerse further, recognize how these auditory keys extended to spiritual realms, where unusual echoes might inspire myths or rituals in the cave's depths. Rustles interpreted as ancestral whispers guided decisions, blending the practical with the mystical. Crackles from sacrificial fires could mark ceremonies, their sounds reverberating through generations. Survival intertwined with belief as sounds bridge the seen and unseen worlds. Allow this layer to add depth to your journey back in time. The daily vigilance required by these sounds cultivated a profound environmental harmony. Dwellers moved in sync with nature's orchestra. A sudden crackle might alert intruders, prompting defensive strategies honed over millennia. Echoes helped in navigation within vast cave systems, preventing disorientation in the dark. This life, rich in sonic meaning, contrasts our modern detachment, offering a soothing reflection. The rhythm of their lives invites contemplation without haste. We're peeling back the layers of time to reveal the lost symphony of a prehistoric cave dweller, a harmonious blend of natural and human-made sounds that compose the soundtrack of early existence. Archaeological endeavors in sites like the Swabian Jura in Germany have uncovered artifacts that hint at this auditory world, including bone flutes whose soft tones might have echoed through cave chambers during gatherings or rituals. These layers, stripped away by patient excavation, expose a life where the symphony was not orchestrated, but emerged organically from the interplay of environment and ingenuity. The dwellers, navigating the challenges of the last ice age, incorporated these sounds into their cultural fabric, perhaps using rhythmic patterns to teach skills or mark seasonal changes. As we uncover this, imagine the gradual revelation like dawn light filtering into the cave, illuminating the subtle notes that define their days. This lost symphony began with the Earth's own contributions, such as the steady drip of water from stalactites, metronome-like rhythm that measured time in the absence of sunlight. Human elements added depth from the scrape of ochre on rock during artistic expressions to the soft patter of feet on damp floors during daily chores. Peeling back these temporal veils through scientific methods like radiocarbon dating allows us to reconstruct this auditory mosaic piece by piece. The symphony's movements varied by region, the coastal caves incorporating the distant crash of waves, while inland ones featured the rustle of forest life. Let this unveiling proceed at a leisurely pace, mirroring the unhurried tempo of prehistoric life itself. In revealing this symphony, we encounter the voices of the dwellers, perhaps low hums or chants that resonated in acoustically favorable spots, fostering a sense of unity among kin. Layers of ash from ancient hearths tell tales of fires whose crackles punctuated conversations, blending warmth with communal harmony. Time's erosion has silenced much, but echoes persist in modern simulations, where experts recreate these sounds to understand behavioral patterns. The prehistoric orchestra included percussive elements, like the thud of wooden clubs on hides during hide preparation, adding texture to the overall composition as these layers unfold. Feel the gentle accumulation of knowledge, soothing as a familiar melody. The process of peeling back involves interdisciplinary insights from paleoacoustics to ethnography, drawing parallels with surviving indigenous groups whose soundscapes echo ancient ones. This symphony was adaptive, shifting with migrations as new environments introduced fresh notes, such as the howl of winds through mountain passes. Lost to us are the exact timbres, yet approximations based on tool replicas provide auditory glimpses into their world. Cave art, often in resonant chambers, suggests that visual and sonic arts intertwine with echoes, enhancing the impact of depicted scenes. Embrace this revelation as a bridge to the past, allowing it to resonate softly within you. Further layers reveal the symphony's role in survival strategies, where synchronized sounds during hunts coordinated group efforts without words. Peeling discloses variations over epochs, from Neanderthal grunts to more complex Homo sapiens vocalizations, evolving the auditory landscape. Time's archive preserved in sediment offers clues through fossilized footprints that imply dances or rituals with rhythmic footfalls. This lost harmony underscores human creativity, turning necessity into artful expression amid harsh realities. As we delve deeper, the narrative flows like a quiet stream, carrying you along without disruption. In this symphony, natural calamities added dramatic interludes, like the rumble of earthquakes that reverberated through caves, prompting adaptive responses. Peeling back exposes the interplay of silence and sound, where pauses allowed for reflection or heightened awareness. The dwellers' innovations, such as hollowed bones for whistles, enriched the repertoire, possibly used for signaling across distances. Lost elements invite speculation, grounded in evidence from sites like Istritz in France, known for its musical artifacts. Let this unfolding symphony envelop you, its notes fading into a comforting backdrop. Revelation continues with the symphony's emotional undertones, where soothing sounds might have calmed the injured or lulled children to sleep in the cave's embrace. Layers of cultural transmission show how these auditory traditions were inherited, shaping social norms over generations. Time's relentless march has muted much, but digital reconstructions revive snippets, offering auditory time travel. Prehistoric dwellers composed without intent. There lives an impromptu performance dictated by need and nature. As these insights accumulate, sense the gentle harmony settling over your thoughts. Peeling further, we find the symphony intertwined with spirituality. Unusual echoes, perhaps interpreted as voices from beyond, inspiring early beliefs. This lost auditory world contrasted starkly with visual darkness, making sound the primary sense for orientation and connection. Revelations from global sites like those in Indonesia's Sulawesi caves suggest regional variations in sonic practices. The process of uncovering fosters appreciation for our ancestors' resilience. Harmonizing fact with imagination, allow this layer to add resonance to your relaxation. The symphony's crescendos might have occurred during communal feasts, but the sizzle of cooking and murmurs of sharing amplifying bonds. Time's layers, meticulously analyzed, reveal how climate shifts altered the soundscape, from glacial quiets to post-ice age vibrancy. Lost to decay are organic instruments, but stone echoes endure, testifying to enduring human presence. This peeling back is a methodical journey akin to the dweller's patient crafting of tools. Feel the symphony's subtle vibrations, a lullaby from antiquity. In final layers, the symphony merges with evolution, as enhanced hearing is selected for survival advantages in echoing environments. Revelations highlight gender roles, perhaps with women gathering sounds differing from men's hunting cues. Time conceals specifics, yet broad strokes paint a picture of auditory interdependence. The prehistoric cave dweller's world was a concert hall of necessity where every note mattered. As we conclude this unveiling, the lost symphony lingers, inviting deeper repose. Listen closely to the rhythmic clink-clink shatter, as flint is meticulously chipped into a razor-sharp tool, a sound that meant life or death in the unforgiving prehistoric landscape. In the dim light of the cave, a dweller would select a suitable core of flint, its surface smooth from river tumbling, and begin the careful process of knapping, where each strike with a hammerstone produced that distinctive clink, echoing softly off the walls. This rhythmic pattern required precision, as a misplaced blow could shatter the piece irreparably, wasting precious resources gathered from distant outcrops. The sounds serve as both a meditation and a measure of progress, building tension until the final shatter released a flake sharp enough for cutting or scraping. Life hinged on these tools, enabling the processing of hides, carving of wood, or butchering of game, turning raw materials into essentials for survival. The chipping process was a skill passed down through observation and imitation, with the clink-clink building a cadence that young learners mimicked under watchful eyes. Flint, prized for its conchoidal fracture properties, responded predictably to force, allowing dwellers to anticipate the shatter and adjust their technique accordingly. In archaeological sites like those in the Levant, evidence of napping floors shows accumulations of debitage, the flakes and shards left behind, each bearing silent testimony to hours of this auditory labor. The rhythm varied by tool type, from quick clings for arrowheads to slower, deliberate strikes for hand axes, adapting to the needs of the season or hunt. As this sound filled the cave, it underscored the dwellers' ingenuity, transforming stone into extensions of their will. Yet the clink-clink shatter was not without risk, as flying shards could cause injury, a grim reminder of the tool's dual nature as creator and potential hazard. Dwellers often worked in designated areas within the cave to contain the debris, their strikes echoing in a way that alerted others to ongoing activity. This sound marked transitions in daily routines, signaling the preparation phase before ventures outside, where well-crafted tools increase chances of success. Over time, innovations like pressure flaking refined the process, producing finer clinks and more controlled shatters for delicate blades. The rhythm of their lives incorporated this craft, a steady beat amid the unpredictability of nature. In communal settings, multiple nappers might synchronize their clinks, creating a polyphonic workshop atmosphere that fostered cooperation and knowledge sharing. The shatter's finality brought satisfaction, as the new tool was inspected by touch and sight in the flickering light, ready for immediate use or storage. Evidence from European sites like Boxgrove in England reveals sophisticated napping techniques, dating back over 500,000 years, hinting at early Homo heidelbergensis engaging in similar sonic rituals. This auditory element reinforced focus, drowning out distractions and aligning the mind with the task at hand, allowed this depiction to resonate, evoking the patience required in such ancient endeavors. The life or death implication of these sounds lay in their outcome, where a poorly made tool could fail during a critical moment, such as a hunt gone awry due to a dull edge. Dwellers sourced flint from quarries, sometimes traveling far, making each clink an investment in future security. The shatter often followed a buildup of tension, releasing not just a flake but also a sense of accomplishment in an era of constant challenge. As techniques evolved through the Upper Paleolithic, the sounds became more refined, reflecting cultural advancements in toolkits. The rhythm of their lives pulsed with this craftsmanship, a foundational harmony in the daily grind. Consider how the clink-clink shatter extended beyond utility to perhaps ritualistic significance. With certain tools buried with the dead, their creation sounds echoing in memory. In harsher climates, the process might be hurried, the clinks sharper against the cold air infiltrating the cave. Archaeological reconstructions demonstrate how antler soft hammers produce softer clinks, varying the auditory experience based on materials available. This meticulous chipping embodied resilience, each sound a step toward mastering the environment. Let this sonic detail immerse you further, bridging the gap to prehistoric perseverance. The tool's razor-sharp result was tested immediately, perhaps with a soft scrape on wood, confirming the shatter's success. Dwellers' hands, calloused from repetition, gripped the hammerstone firmly, ensuring the clink's accuracy. Sites in Africa, like Olduvai Gorge, showcase early examples of this technique. The choppers whose creation filled the air with primitive rhythms. The sound's absence in failed attempts taught lessons in material selection and angle precision. As part of sustenance preparation, this auditory craft laid the groundwork for meals and shelters alike. In quieter moments, a solitary napper might prolong the clink phase, savoring the control over stone in a world of uncertainties. The shatter's echo could alert nearby group members to a new tool's availability, promoting sharing within the band. Evolutionary anthropologists note how the skill correlated with brain development, rhythmic sounds perhaps stimulating cognitive pathways. Life or death balanced on these edges, where a well-chipped scraper could mean efficient hide tanning or food preparation. The rhythm of their lives, marked by such sounds, invites a gentle reflection on human origins. Moreover, seasonal variations influence the intensity of napping. More clinks during preparatory periods before migrations. The shatter's final crack might be followed by a sigh of relief, inaudible but felt in the cave's atmosphere. Tools from sites like La Foraging in France illustrate Neanderthal proficiency, their sounds lost but imaginable through replicas. This meticulous process highlighted the dwellers' adaptation, turning raw flint into lifelines. Feel the steady cadence of this description easing you onward. The clink-clink shatter symphony was integral to tool evolution. From hold-down and simplicity to warring yacht and complexity over millennia, dwellers often recycled cores, extending the life of each piece through repeated strikes. The sound's familiarity provided comfort, a predictable element in an otherwise wild existence. Archaeological experiments replicate these noises, offering modern ears a portal to the past. As we explore this, sense the foundational role of such sounds in human progress. Hear the satisfying thwack of a well-aimed spear-piercing hide, a sound that echoed the culmination of a successful hunt in the prehistoric wilderness, marking the transition from pursuit to preparation. In the aftermath of tracking game through dense foliage or across open tundras, the dweller would thrust the spear with calculated force, the thwack resonating as the sharpened point met resistance. Before breaking through the animal's tough exterior, this sound, sharp yet muffled by flesh, signaled not just the end of the chase but the beginning of resource utilization. Every part of the quarry held value for the group's sustenance and shelter. The hide, once pierced, was carefully removed, its weight and texture a testament to the creature's life, now repurposed in the cycle of survival. Followed closely was the soft tier of sinew being separated, a delicate process requiring steady hands to extract the fibrous threads, essential for binding tools or sewing garments. This thwack carried weight beyond the immediate, as it represented the payoff of hours or days spent in observation and strategy, aligning with seasonal migrations of herds like mammoths or reindeer. Dwellers fashioned spears from sturdy wood shafts tipped with flint or bone, their balance tested through practice throws that produced preliminary whistles in the air. Upon impact, the satisfying penetration sound boosted morale within the hunting party, fostering a quiet sense of achievement amid the exhaustion of the endeavor. The subsequent tier of sinew involved slicing along natural seams with stone blades, the almost imperceptible rip underscoring the precision needed to avoid waste. In archaeological records from sites like Schäningen in Germany, wooden spears dating back 300,000 years illustrate the sophistication of these weapons, their use implied by wear patterns and contextual finds. The process continued with cleaning the hide. The thwack might be echoed in scraping sounds as flesh was removed, but the initial pierce remained the pivotal auditory milestone. Sinew, once torn free, was dried and twisted into cords, its preparation a tactile and sonic ritual performed near the cave's entrance for better light. This soundscape of hunt aftermath integrated with the rhythm of their lives, where a failed thwack could mean prolonged hunger, heightening the stakes of each expedition. Groups often divided labor, with some handling the piercing and initial processing while others focused on sinew extraction, their coordinated efforts minimizing loss. As this unfolded, the soft tier provided a counterpoint to the thwack's decisiveness, blending action with meticulous care. In varying terrains, the thwack's timbre shifted slightly, louder against thicker hides of larger beasts or subtler with smaller game like rabbits, adapting to the ecosystem's offerings. Dwellers honed their aim through communal training, where mock thwacks on targets built muscle, memory, and group cohesion. The tier of sinew, nearly silent yet intimate, required close proximity, often done in sheltered spots to protect the material from elements. Evidence from African sites like Clay's River mouth shows early processing techniques, the cut marks on bones indicating similar auditory sequences in meat division. This satisfying progression from thwack to tier embodied efficiency, turning a living animal into multifaceted resources over the course of a day. The well-aimed spear's impact was a skill refined over generations, the elders demonstrating the angle and force needed for that resonant thwack, passing knowledge without formal words. Height piercing was followed by stretching and curing, but the initial sound lingered in memory as a harbinger of provision. Sinew soft tear performed with bone awls or fingers yielded threads stronger than plant fibers, ideal for lashing spearheads or mending nets in colder climates. This process hastened to prevent freezing. The sounds compressed into urgent sessions around warming fires, the rhythm of their lives pulsed. But these auditory markers, a gentle reminder of interdependence with nature's bounty. Consider how the thwack reverberated not just physically but emotionally. A release after the tension of stalking, where silence preceded the decisive moment post-hunt. Tear of sinew allowed for reflection as dwellers worked methodically, their hands guided by experience accumulated from countless repetitions. Tools for this included scrapers that complemented the spear, ensuring the hide's integrity for future uses like clothing or bedding. Archaeological insights from Siberian sites reveal mammoth ivory, points that would produce distinct thwacks. Varying the sonic palette across cultures allowed this depiction to evoke the grounded reality of prehistoric sustenance, soothing in its predictability. The satisfying nature of the thwack lay in its finality, confirming the spear's efficacy and the hunter's prowess in a world of variables. Sinew preparation with its subtle tear, transition to storage or immediate use, perhaps in repairing gear worn from the hunt itself. Groups might share stories around these sounds, low voices blending with the processing noises to reinforce bonds in marine-adapted communities. Similar thwacks occurred with harpoons on seals, the tear following for tendon extraction. This auditory duo highlighted human adaptation. From forest to steppe, each environment shaping the sound subtly. As the hide yielded to the spear, the thwack often preceded a collective effort. Multiple dwellers assisting in the field dressing to expedite transport back to the cave. The soft tear of sinew, almost a whisper, contrasted the outdoor thwack, bringing the work indoors for finer manipulation. Nutritional value extended beyond meat as hides provided insulation. Their processing sounds integral to seasonal preparations. Finds from sites like Dolny Stanis in the Czech Republic include clay figurines possibly inspired by such daily rituals, linking sound to art. The rhythm of their lives, woven with these elements, offers a calming narrative of endurance. Moreover, in times of scarcity, a thwack might be rare, heightening its satisfaction when achieved, followed by careful sinew harvesting to maximize utility. Dwellers experimented with spear designs, the sounds evolving with innovations like atlatls that amplified throw power. The tears and perceptibility belied its importance, as sinew-enabled composite tools crucial for advanced hunting. Global comparisons from Australian Aboriginal parallels to Native American traditions suggest universal auditory patterns in hide work. Feeling this connection to ancient practices deepens your relaxation. The well-aimed precision required for the thwack demanded focus akin to meditation, where breath aligned with motion in the hunt's climax. Post-pierce, the tear of sinew involved drying racks, the material's flexibility tested through gentle pulls. This sequence ensured nothing was wasted from blood to bones, each with its own subtle sounds and utilization. In evolutionary terms, such skills correlated with larger brain capacities, the auditory feedback reinforcing learning. As we explore this, sense the humble triumph in these prehistoric accomplishments. The subtle crunch of scavenged roots and berries being consumed marked the quiet culmination of a foraging expedition, a sound that blended humility with the essential act of nourishment in the prehistoric routine. Dwellers, often women and children from the group, would venture into nearby woodlands or meadows, gathering tubers like wild carrots or bulbs from lily plants, their hands deftly pulling them from the soil with minimal disturbance. Upon return to the cave, these items were cleaned with gentle brushes of grass or stone, setting the stage for the first crunch as teeth met the fibrous texture, releasing earthy flavors that sustain energy for daily tasks. Berries such as elderberries or wild strawberries, depending on the season, added a softer pop to the mix, their juices mingling with the crunch to create a simple yet vital meal shared among kin. This auditory modesty reflected the gatherer's role in balancing the diet, where plant foods provided vitamins absent in meat, ensuring the band's overall health in an era without agriculture. Crunch carried a rhythmic quality, deliberate and unhurried, as each bite allowed time for digestion and conversation in low tones around the communal space. Roots, though from their underground growth, required thorough chewing, the sound echoing faintly in the cave's acoustics and signaling contentment after hours of searching. Berries harvested in clusters from low bushes offered variety, their subtle bursts contrasting the root's steadiness and preventing monotony in the primal palate. Archaeological evidence from sites like Gesher Bennett Yaakov in Israel shows charred plant remains, indicating that some items were roasted first, softening the crunch into a more yielding texture. The humble nature of this meal underscored the dwellers' reliance on nature's bounty, where a poor season could mute these sounds, prompting adaptations like increased hunting. In preparation, the scavenged items were often inspected for ripeness or pests, the crunch only commencing once deemed safe, a precaution honed by generations of trial and error. The sound's subtlety belied its importance, as consistent foraging contributed up to 70% of caloric intake in many hunter-gatherer societies based on ethnographic parallels. Berry seeds might add a faint grit to the crunch, a natural element that dwellers accepted as part of the earth's provision during lean times. Roots like cattails provided starch, their consumption a steady crunch that filled the void left by scarce game. This primal meal's acoustics integrated seamlessly with the cave's ambient hush, fostering a sense of grounded routine amid uncertainty. The act of consuming these foods was communal, with the crunch synchronizing bites among group members, reinforcing social ties through shared sensory experiences. Scavenged roots, dug with wooden sticks or bone tools, carried the soil's essence, their cleaning minimal to preserve nutrients in a raw state. Berries, plucked with care to avoid thorns, brought seasonal sweetness, their crunch a brief delight in otherwise austere fare. Finds from European caves like Green Canada in Italy reveal pollen traces, suggesting diverse plant diets that varied by region and climate. The humble sounds evoked simplicity, a gentle reminder of life's basics without the embellishments of later civilizations. Yet the crunch could vary by preparation, with some roots pounded into paste for easier eating, muting the sound but extending the meal's utility for the young or elderly. Berries, when abundant, might be mashed for storage, their collective pop transforming into a squelch before drying. This subtle auditory element highlighted efficiency, as foragers selected items for portability and longevity during migrations. In tropical regions, different flora like yams produce deeper crunches, adapting the soundscape to local ecologies. The primal meal's essence lay in its unadorned nature, sustaining bodies and spirits through everyday harmony. Consider how the crunch served as a pause in the daily grind, allowing dwellers to reflect on the day's yields while replenishing strength for upcoming labors. Scavenged items were often supplemented with nuts, adding a sharper crack to the repertoire, broadening the nutritional base. Berry subtle sweetness provided rare treats, their consumption a moment of quiet pleasure in the cave's dim light. Paleolithic studies from sites in the Americas, like Monteverde in Chile, illustrate early plant use, the remains implying similar humble repasts. This sound's humility invited appreciation for the earth's quiet generosity, soothing in its reliability. The consumption process respects the environment with minimal waste, crunch encompassing peels or stems when edible to maximize intake. Roots' earthy crunch grounded the meal in the landscape, connecting eaters directly to their foraging paths. Berries with their fleeting season made each crunch a temporal marker, signaling shifts in the annual cycle. In group settings, these sounds blended into a soft chorus, promoting equity as portions were divided evenly. The primal aspect emphasized raw vitality, a far cry from processed foods, yet fulfilling in its directness. As the meal progressed, the crunch might slow, satiation bringing a natural end to the auditory sequence, leaving only the aftertaste of nature's provisions. Scavenged diversity ensured balance. Through its offering bulk and berries vitamins, their combined sounds a symphony of sustenance. This humble ritual reinforced resilience as dwellers adapted to available flora without complaint. Evidence from Asian sites like Spirit Cave in Thailand shows early seed use, hinting at proto-agricultural practices with familiar crunches allowed this depiction to evoke the understated nourishment of prehistoric life. Moreover, in ritual contexts, certain berries might be reserved, their crunch part of ceremonial sharing to mark events like births or solstices. The subtle sound contrasted hunting's drama, highlighting the gathering's steady contribution to survival. Roots stored in cool cave corners provided off-season crunches, extending the meal's reach through foresight. This primal humility fostered gratitude, each bite a link to the land's cycles. The rhythm of their lives incorporated these moments, a calming interlude in the daily flow. The scavenged crunch was a testament to observational skills, as dwellers identified edible plants through inherited knowledge, avoiding toxic mimics. Berries pop added variety, preventing dietary monotony and supporting immune health. In varied biomes, from tundras to forests, the sounds adapted, always humble yet essential. Archaeological pollen analysis confirms widespread plant reliance, enriching our understanding of these meals. Feel this sonic subtlety deepen the immersion into ancient routines. The mesmerizing crackle and pop of a carefully controlled fire served as the heartbeat of the prehistoric cave, a sound that drew the dwellers together in the flickering light. After a day of foraging and hunting, in the chill of evening, one member of the group would arrange dry twigs and branches gathered from the surrounding landscape, striking sparks from flint and pyrite to ignite the tinder, soon giving way to the initial soft crackles as flames took hold. This controlled fire, tamed through generations of trial and refinement, broadcast warmth that penetrated the damp stone walls, transforming the cave into a sanctuary against the encroaching night. The pops, occasional and sharp, rose from pockets of sap or moisture in the wood exploding under heat, punctuating the steady rhythm and reminding all of the fire's lively essence. Safety emanated from this auditory presence, as the sound deterred nocturnal animals while providing light to ward off unseen dangers. In the shadows, community flourished around this primal hearth. The crackle and pop formed a backdrop for shared moments, allowing dwellers to exchange glances and gestures in the warm glow. The fire's maintenance was a collective responsibility, with individuals taking turns to add fuel, each addition eliciting fresh crackles that signaled ongoing vigilance. This broadcast extended beyond the immediate group, as the scent of smoke carried faint echoes of the pops to distant kin, perhaps signaling location in vast territories. Warmth was not merely physical but emotional, the sounds fostering a sense of belonging in an era where isolation could prove fatal. The rhythm of their lives synchronized with the fire's cadence, a gentle constant that marked the transition from activity to rest. Yet the mesmerizing quality lay in its hypnotic repetition, crackle weaving a tapestry of security that lulled weary bodies toward slumber. Amid the cave's embrace, dwellers positioned themselves strategically around the flames, the pops occasionally startling, but ultimately reassuring in their familiarity. This controlled element distinguished humans from beasts, as early mastery of fire around 1.5 million years ago, evidenced by sites like Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, revolutionized diet and social structures. The broadcast of safety extended to cooking, where the crackle accompanied the transformation of raw foods into digestible meals, enhancing nutrition. Allow this sonic warmth to envelop your imagination, evoking the ancient comfort of gathered kin. The fires crackle and pop varied with fuel types, softer with dry grasses or louder with resinous pines, adapting to seasonal availability and diverse ecosystems. Careful control prevented runaway blazes, with dwellers encircling the hearth and stone rings to contain Immerse, their pops contained within the defined space. This primal sound served as a timer, the diminishing crackles prompting fuel additions to sustain the night. Community bonds strengthened through stories mimed or vocalized against this auditory canvas, passing lore without written words. The rhythm of their lives, warmed by this fire, offered a soothing counterpoint to the day's exertions. In harsher winters, the mesmerizing crackle intensified with denser woods, broadcasting amplified warmth to combat freezing temperatures that gripped the landscape. Pops from bursting embers might scatter sparks, requiring quick stamps to maintain safety. Minor interruption in the overall harmony. Archaeological hearths from sites like Kibara Cave in Israel reveal layered ash deposits, indicating prolonged use and the enduring presence of these sounds over millennia. The fire's control symbolize human dominion over elements, turning potential destruction into a tool for survival and unity. Feel the gentle pull of this primal broadcast, drawing you deeper into historical repose. The crackle and pop not only provided auditory comfort but also practical signals, such as alerting to overly dry conditions that might spread flames beyond control. Dwellers experimented with fire-starting techniques, the initial strikes leading to the rewarding buildup of crackles that confirmed success. This mesmerizing cycle encouraged innovation, like using fungi as tinder for steadier ignitions. Altering the pop's frequency, safety was paramount, but the sounds guiding the group's positioning to avoid smoke inhalation in enclosed spaces. The community aspect shown in shared warmth, where the fire's broadcast united disparate individuals into a cohesive unit. As the night deepened, the crackles softened with glowing coals, the occasional pop a remnant of earlier vigor, easing the transition to collective rest. Controlled fires allowed for extended wakefulness when needed, their sounds accompanying planning or tool repairs in the dim light. This primal element influenced migration patterns as reliable fire sites became favored camps, their echoes and memory guiding returns. Warmth permeated clothing and bedding near the hearth. Crackles a lullaby for the young nestled close, the rhythm of their lives, anchored by this fire, whispered of enduring human spirit. The mesmerizing quality extended to therapeutic effects. The crackle and pop might soothe ailments or calm disputes within the group dynamic. Broadcasts of safety reached psychological depths, reducing fear of the unknown in a world teeming with predators. Pops served as natural alarms, their irregularity keeping senses attuned without constant vigilance. Community rituals, perhaps involving rhythmic additions to the fire, amplified the sounds for ceremonial emphasis. Allow this auditory hearth to warm your thoughts, a gentle flame in the narrative's flow. In diverse cultures, the crackle varied by biome, from arid savannas with quick-burning acacias to forested regions with sustained oak pops. Careful control included banking embers for morning revival, muting overnight sounds to conserve energy. This primal broadcast connected generations, as children learned fire tending through mimicry of the crackles. Safety nets like water vessels nearby prevented mishaps, the sounds uninterrupted in well-managed hearths. The rhythm of their lives glowed with this central element, a beacon of prehistoric ingenuity. The fire's mesmerizing crackle and pop encapsulated the essence of home, transforming transient caves into enduring abodes through auditory familiarity. Dwellers' adaptations, like using bone for pokers, subtly influenced the pop's timbre during adjustments. This controlled warmth enabled raw material processing, such as hardening spear tips, with sounds blending into the task. Community thrived in the shared silence between pops, allowing for introspection amid unity. Feel the soft glow of this description, illuminating the past without glare. Notice the nuanced hiss as a wet branch is introduced to the fire, a subtle sound that spoke volumes about the dwellers' resourcefulness in managing their precious hearth amid varying weather conditions. When rain-soaked wood was all that could be foraged from the damp forest floor, the dweller would carefully place it among the glowing embers, eliciting that initial hiss as moisture evaporated in contact with the heat, a gentle reminder of nature's interplay with human ingenuity. This sound, soft and prolonged, indicated the branch's gradual integration into the flames, preventing sudden flare-ups that could waste fuel or pose risks in the confined cave space. Meanwhile, the soft sizzle of fat dripping from roasting meat onto the embers added a rhythmic counterpoint, its intermittent notes signaling the cooking process's progress in enriching the air with savory aromas that drew the group closer. These nuanced auditory details highlighted the fire's dual role as provider of warmth and nourishment, where each hiss or sizzle contributed to the careful balance of resources in a world without abundance. The introduction of a wet branch often followed a deliberate selection, chosen for its potential to burn slowly once dried by the existing fire, the hiss serving as a transitional melody in the hearth's ongoing symphony. Dwellers learned through experience to time these additions, listening for the hiss to subside before adding more, ensuring a steady burn that lasted through the night. The sizzle arising from game fats rendering over the flames not only enhanced flavors but also provided oils for lamps or skin treatments, its soft persistence a testament to efficient use of every hunt's yield. In archaeological context from sites like Abric Romani in Spain, charred wood remnants suggest such practices, with moisture content influencing burn patterns and sounds. This nuanced management fostered a sense of control, turning potential hindrances like wet fuel into assets for sustained comfort. Yet, the hiss could vary in intensity, sharper with freshly fallen rain or subtler in misty conditions, adapting the soundscape to the environment's whims and training ears to anticipate burn durations. The soft sizzle, meanwhile, might accelerate as fats melted fully, prompting rotations of the spit to even cook and prevent charring. These sounds intertwine with the fire's core crackle, creating layers of auditory texture that enrich communal gatherings without overwhelming the senses. Dwellers position food strategically above embers to maximize the sizzle's benefits, collecting drippings for later use in soups or as sealants, the rhythm of their lives incorporated. These nuances, a gentle ebb and flow that mirror the fire's own variability. In moments of scarcity, pronounced hiss from overly damp branches might necessitate fanning or repositioning, the sound guiding adjustments to salvage the fire's vitality. The sizzle's allure drew children near, teaching them through observation the art of hearth tending, its soft notes a lesson in patience and precision. This nuanced interplay extended to tool hardening, where wet branches might be used to temper heat, their hiss modulating temperatures for crafting. Evidence from Ethiopian sites like Melka Country shows fire use in tool production, implying similar auditory cues in ancient workflows allow this depiction to evoke the subtle artistry of prehistoric domesticity, soothing in its methodical grace. The introduction of elements like wet branches demonstrated adaptability, the hiss a harbinger of transformation from unusable to essential in the hearth's embrace. Soft sizzles from fats, not only nourished but also preserved, as rendered oils extended food shelf life in cool cave storage. These sounds, though quiet, reinforced group dynamics, with shared listening fostering coordination in meal preparations in varied climates. From Mediterranean groves to Siberian taigas, the nuances shifted, yet the core hiss and sizzle remain universal markers of sustenance. The rhythm of their lives, tuned to these details, offered a calming continuity amid change. Consider how the nuanced hiss served as an early warning, its prolongation indicating excessive moisture that could smother flames if unchecked, prompting swift interventions. The soft sizzle, in contrast, brought moments of anticipation as dwellers awaited the peak of flavor release before sharing portions. This auditory finesse extended to medicinal uses, where herbal branches might hiss while infusing smokes for healing rituals. Archaeological pollen and hearts from sites like Shanidar Cave in Iraq hints at such practices, blending sound with purpose, feel this layer of subtlety deep in the hearth's narrative, a whisper from the past. The wet branches is often blended seamlessly into the fire's revival. Its nuance a bridge between challenge and triumph in daily hearth management. Soft sizzles evoke communal satisfaction. The drips a prelude to meals that strengthen bonds over shared plates. Dwellers might experiment with fat types from deer to fish, each producing unique sizzle timbers based on composition. In global contexts like Australian rock shelters, similar fire adaptations show auditory parallels in resource use. This nuanced harmony underscored human resilience, gentle and persistent. As the hiss faded with drying, it gave way to fuller crackles. Transition smooth like the dweller's adaptation to seasonal shifts in fuel availability. The sizzle's softness invited reflection, perhaps on the hunt's success. It sounds a subtle celebration without fanfare. These elements wove into the cave's acoustic fabric, enhancing the fire's role as a social nucleus. Finds from Chinese sites like Zhaokurian illustrate long-term fire control, implying generations of such nuanced listening. The rhythm of their lives pulsed with these quiet interactions, inviting serene contemplation. Moreover, the nuanced introduction of wet materials tested skills. The hiss of feedback loop for refining techniques passed through kin lines. Soft sizzles contributed to waste reduction, as captured fats extended utility beyond the immediate meal. This soundscape encouraged mindfulness, with each note attuning the group to the fire's needs. In evolutionary terms, such auditory acuity supported survival advantages. Honing senses in fire-dependent societies allowed this exploration to settle softly, enriching the prehistoric vista. The hiss and sizzle duo embodied the hearth's dynamic nature, nuanced responses to human input in an otherwise wild element. Dwellers' careful choices minimized disruptions, turning potential hisses into harmonious integrations. These soft sounds, though fleeting, left lasting impacts on nutrition and warmth provision. Comparative studies with modern foragers reveal enduring patterns, linking past and present through auditory threads. Feel the gentle warmth of this detail, a flicker in history's glow. The low hum of human voices resonated softly within the cave, a gentle undercurrent that wove stories and plans into the fabric of communal life. Against the flickering dance of the flame's light, in the warmth of the hearth, dwellers gathered close, their voices rising in a subdued hum as elders recounted tales of past hunts or migrations. Each word carried on breaths that mingled with the fire's smoke. This hum, neither loud nor insistent, served as a vessel for knowledge transmission, where experiences were shared through simple narratives or gestures illuminated by the flame's glow. Perhaps a plan for the morrow's forage was whispered, the low tones ensuring discretion in the enclosed space while fostering unity among the group. Against this backdrop, the flickering flame cast shifting shadows on the walls, enhancing the intimacy of the moment and turning the cave into a living archive of oral history. The human voices carried emotional weight, soothing the young with lullabies or calming disputes with measured discussions. While enveloped in the fire's reassuring presence, dwellers modulated their tones instinctively, the low pitch blending harmoniously with the hearth's crackles to avoid startling wildlife outside or echoing too far into the night. Stories told might recount encounters with megafauna, the hum rising slightly for emphasis before settling back into whisper, drawing listeners into a shared imaginative space. Plans whispered could involve tool improvements or territorial shifts, the voice's rhythm aligning with the flame's flicker to create a hypnotic cadence. This auditory layer added depth to the hearth's role, transforming it from mere heat source to the heart of social interaction. Yet the low hum was adaptive, shifting from narrative to practical as needs arose, perhaps coordinating watch duties with quiet assignments against the flame's steady glow. Human voices in this era before complex language fully blossomed might include proto-words or melodic intonations, their hum evoking emotions more than specifics in the firelit dimness. Archaeological insights from sites like Divje Babe in Slovenia with its purported bone flute suggest that vocal hums could intermingle with early music, enriching the flickering backdrop. A story being told fostered empathy as listeners visualized scenes through the hum's inflections, bonding the group in collective memory. The rhythm of their lives hummed with these exchanges, a subtle thread of continuity amid daily uncertainties. In quieter interludes, the hum might soften to mere breaths, allowing the flame's own sounds to dominate while voices rested, ready to resume with renewed purpose. Perhaps a whispered plan involved healing rituals, the low tones invoking ancestral guidance as herbs were prepared over the flickering embers. This human element humanized the cave, turning stone walls into echoes of laughter or concern, all framed by the fire's light, while his voices carried across generations. The hum a bridge for teaching survival skills without formal instruction. Against the backdrop, the flame's dance seemed to respond, its flickers sensing with vocal rises for an almost choreographed harmony. The low hum of voices often peaked during evening gatherings, where the day's events were dissected in whispers, the flame providing visual cues through its shifting illumination. Human connections deepen here as a story of loss or triumph elicited empathetic hums from listeners, reinforcing communal resilience. Plans whispered might outline alliances with nearby bands, the tones cautious yet hopeful in the fire's glow. This auditory intimacy contrasted the outer world's harshness, offering solace in shared expression. Allowed this depiction to evoke the gentle pulse of prehistoric society, soothing as the voices themselves. Consider how the hums serve as a social glue, with voices overlapping in harmonious layers during group decisions. The flickering flame illuminating faces intent on consensus. A story told could inspire art on the walls. The hum guiding hand movements in charcoal sketches by firelight. Whispered plans ensured preparedness, from weather predictions to resource allocation, all in low registers to maintain peace. In diverse regions, vocal styles varied, yet the universal hum bound humans in mutual understanding. The rhythm of their lives, voiced against the flame, whispered of enduring bonds. The human voice's low hum might incorporate mimetic elements, imitating animal calls within stories to educate the young. The flame's flicker adding dramatic effect. Against this backdrop, whispers carried weight as subtle inflections conveyed urgency or calm in planning sessions. This vocal nuance highlighted cognitive evolution, where hums predated full speech but served similar connective purposes. Dwellers positioned themselves to optimize acoustics, cave amplifying the low tones for all to hear without strain. Filled the sonic intimacy deepened, the hearth's narrative a murmur from antiquity. As the night wore on, the hum gradually faded, stories concluding with satisfied sighs and plans set. The flickering flame now the primary sentinel. Human voices in their low register fostered trust, as consistent humming built familiarity among kin in the fire's warm circle. Perhaps a whispered chant invoked protection, the tones blending with smoke tendrils rising to the cave ceiling. This element underscored the hearth's centrality, where voices and flame intertwined in daily ritual. The rhythm of their lives hummed softly into repose, inviting reflection. Moreover, the low hum could signal transitions from active discourse to restful silence, with the flame's backdrop providing a visual cue for winding down. A story being told might evolve into song-like hums, early precursors to music that soothed the group. Whispered plans, practical and forward-looking, ensured the band's adaptability in changing landscapes. In archaeological terms, such vocalizations left no direct trace, yet inferred from group dynamics and burial sites like Sanjir in Russia. This human touch added warmth beyond the physical, a gentle auditory embrace. The voices hum against the flickering flame embodied communal spirit. Isolation dissolved in shared sound waves within the cave's confines. Human interactions, low and deliberate, navigated emotions from joy to sorrow. The fire witnessing all. Plans whispered might involve seasonal preparations, the tones measured to inspire confidence. This backdrop of light and shadow enhanced the hum's impact, making each word linger in memory. Allow the low resonance to settle, a calming echo in history's quiet. Experienced the profound silence of the cavern, a vast quietude that enveloped the prehistoric dwellers like a heavy cloak, broken only by the sporadic drip of water from ancient stalactites high above. This silence was not absolute but a canvas of subtle stillness. The absence of sound allowed the mind to attune to the cave's inherent rhythms, fostering a deep sense of introspection amid daily survival. The occasional drip, falling from mineral-rich ceilings, landed in shallow pools with a delicate plink, a sound that echoed faintly through the chambers and marked the passage of time. In an otherwise timeless void, dwellers grew accustomed to this auditory minimalism, using it as a baseline to detect anomalies in their environment, such as shifts in air currents or distant movements, creating an otherworldly atmosphere. This punctuated silence connected them to the geological history of the cave. Formed over millennia by water's patient erosion, the profound silence served as a sanctuary, shielding the group from the outer world's cacophony of winds and wildlife, allowing restorative rest in the cool depths. Water drips, sourced from seeping groundwater, accumulated into rivulets that nourish nearby flora or provided drinking sources, their plinks a gentle reminder of life's sustenance hidden in stone. This cavernous quietude amplified internal thoughts, perhaps inspiring early contemplative practices or dreams that influenced cave art depictions. Dwellers positioned sleeping areas away from drip zones to avoid disturbance, yet the occasional plink became a familiar lullaby in the profound hush. The otherworldly plink evoked a sense of eternity, as each drop contributed to the slow growth of stalagmites, mirroring the incremental progress of human evolution. In this silence, the cavern felt alive, its profound stillness breathing with the earth's subtle pulses. Interrupted by the water's rhythmic descent that created natural timekeepers. The drip's origin in overhead fissures carved by acidic rainwater highlighted the cave's dynamic formation, a process ongoing even as dwellers inhabited it. Plinks varied in frequency with seasonal rains, their sound swelling during wet periods to form a soft percussion the dwellers interpreted as omens or signals. This punctuated experience fostered acute listening skills, essential for survival in low visibility environments where sound navigated the dark. The otherworldly quality rose from the echo's delay, turning a simple drip into a resonant note that lingered in the air. The profound silence of the cavern contrasted sharply with the bustling sounds of the outside, offering a retreat where dwellers could process the day's events without distraction. Occasional drips collected in depressions, forming mirrors that reflected faint light from entrances, their plinks rippling the surfaces in quiet symphony. This auditory sparsity encouraged nonverbal communication among the group, relying on gestures and expressions in the dim glow. Dwellers might have used the silence for meditation-like states, aligning breaths with the infrequent plinks to achieve calm, creating an otherworldly realm. Caverns hush blurred boundaries between the physical and the mystical, perhaps birthing early spiritual beliefs. Yet the silence was profound in its depth, void that magnified the significance of each water drip, turning it into a focal point for awareness in the enclosed space. The plink's clarity stemmed from the cave's acoustics, where smooth walls reflected sound waves with minimal distortion, enhancing its ethereal tone. Dwellers harvested water from these drips during dry spells, the collection process sensing with the links to form a practical ritual. This punctuated quietude provided psychological respite, reducing stress from external threats by cocooning the group in sonic isolation. The otherworldly plink invited imagination as echoes suggested hidden chambers or unseen presences within the stone. Cavern's profound silence enveloped senses, allowing the occasional drip to stand out like a solitary star in a night sky. its plink a beacon of constancy. Water, filtering through layers of rock, carried minerals that tinged the sound with subtle variations. Depending on the cave's composition, this experience honed perceptual abilities, with dwellers distinguished between benign drips and those signaling structural shifts. In larger systems, multiple drips created harmonious plinks, a natural chorus that dwellers might have mimicked in early vocalizations. The otherworldly atmosphere deepened connections to the earth, reminding them of their place in a vast, ancient continuum. In moments of solitude, a dweller might seek the profound silence for personal reflection, the water's drip providing a meditative anchor with its intermittent plink. Caverns formation through dissolution created vaults where silence reigned, punctuated only by these liquid notes that echoed history's slow drip. Dwellers adapted sleeping patterns to the plinks, using them as subtle alarms for watch changes in the night. This auditory minimalism contrasted modern noise, offering a pure canvas for the mind to wander freely. Creating an otherworldly escape, the silence and plink blended into a timeless serenade, soothing the spirit. Profound quietude of the cavern was a gift, its silence broken by drips that formed the plink's delicate signature, a sound as integral as breath to the dweller's existence. Water's journey from surface to depths infused each drop with purity, its landing a plink that resonated through the air like a whispered secret. This punctuated stillness allowed for heightened vigilance, where any deviation from the plink pattern could alert intruders or changes. Dwellers incorporated the sounds into lore, perhaps attributing plinks to ancestral spirits watching over them. The otherworldly plink transcended the mundane, elevating the cave to a realm of quiet wonder. As the silence deepened in unoccupied chambers, the occasional drips plink echoed farther, creating illusions of vastness in the profound dark. Caverns' humidity sustained these drips, their frequency a barometer for external weather, guiding dwellers' plans. This experience of punctuated silence built resilience, teaching patience in the face of isolation's weight. In communal areas, the plink became background harmony, blending with human activities without intrusion. The otherworldly quality invited exploration, as curious dwellers followed plinks to discover new passages or resources. Profound silence wrapped the cavern in mystery, each water drip's plink a punctuation mark in the narrative of geological time, observed by transient human lives. Dwellers might collect drips in hollowed stones for rituals, the accumulating plinks a measure of sacred accumulation. This auditory sparsity sharpened other senses, compensating for limited light with enhanced hearing. The silence's depth allowed plinks to carry emotional resonance, perhaps evoking melancholy or peace depending on the moment, creating an otherworldly tapestry. Cavern sounds or lack thereof wove a subtle spell over its inhabitants. Listen for the distant rumble of a rock slide, a sound that echoed through the prehistoric landscape like a low growl from the earth itself, serving as a primal alert to the cave dwellers nestled within their stony refuge. This rumble, originating from unstable slopes nearby, might begin as a faint vibration underfoot before building into audible waves, reverberated through the cavern's entrance, prompting immediate vigilance among the group. Dwellers had learned to distinguish this warning from benign earth shifts, their ears attuned to the subtle precursors that could mean the difference between safety and entrapment in falling debris. The soft scurry of unseen creatures, perhaps rodents or insects skittering in hidden crevices, added a layer of constant awareness, their faint movements a reminder of the cave's shared occupancy with other life forms. In response to such sounds, the dwellers might pause their activities, heads tilted to assess the threat, ensuring the group's cohesion in the face of potential peril. The rumble's primal nature evoked an instinctive response, as generations of experience had ingrained the need to seek higher ground or reinforced entrances. When the distant thunder of shifting rocks grew nearer, rock slides triggered by heavy rains or seismic tremors could block paths or alter water flows, their warnings allowing time for evacuation or preparation in the cavern's depths. Meanwhile, the soft scurry might indicate harmless foragers or signal predators probing the edges, training the dwellers to interpret these as part of the ecosystem's balance. Danger lurked in misjudgment, where ignoring a rumble could lead to isolation. Yet overreacting drained energy needed for sustenance tasks, the rhythm of their lives. Incorporated these auditory cues, a gentle undercurrent of caution woven into daily serenity. Yet, in calmer periods, the distant rumbles serve as a storyteller of the land's history, recounting ancient geological events through its echoing tones that faded into the cave silence. Dwellers might share glances during such moments, their quiet assessments fostering bonds forged in shared alertness without words. The soft scurry, often nocturnal, blended with the night's hush, its subtlety a lullaby of normalcy unless intensified by unusual patterns. Primal warnings like these hone survival instincts, adapting behaviors to the environment's unpredictable moods. Allow this depiction to evoke the delicate balance of peace and peril, soothing in its timeless familiarity. Rumble of a rock slide carried across valleys, its distant origin allowing precious moments for the dwellers to gather tools, or young ones before impact. Such sounds contrasted the cave's inner calm, bridging the outer world's volatility with the sheltered interior through auditory threads. Unseen creatures scurried might reveal hidden resources like edible insects, turning potential danger into opportunity with careful observation. Warnings embedded in these noises underscored human adaptability, as dwellers modified habitats to mitigate risks over time. The rhythm of their lives pulsed with this vigilance, a soft harmony of awareness. In response to the rumble, dwellers might venture cautiously outside, scanning slopes for signs of movement, their return bringing reassurance to the waiting group. The primal alert fostered preparedness, with plans whispered for alternative shelters if the danger escalated. Soft scurries, when benign, added to the cave's living ambience, a reminder of biodiversity coexisting in the shadows. Danger's edge sharpened senses, yet the dwellers' responses remained measured, voiding panic in favor of calculated action. Feel this layer of auditory guardianship deepen the cave's narrative, a whisper of ancient caution. Consider how the distant rumble connected the cave to broader geological forces. Its sound a bridge to the world's slow transformations observed over lifetimes. Rock slides reshaped terrains, their warnings prompting migrations that expanded horizons for the band. The soft scurry of creatures encouraged hygiene practices, as dwellers cleared nests to maintain sanctity. Primal instincts guided interpretations, blending fear with respect for nature's signals. The rhythm of their lives, attuned to these elements, offered a calming testament to endurance. The rumble's fade often brought relief, the distant thread passing without incident, allowing resumption of routines in the cave's embrace. Such warnings rarely culminated in catastrophe, yet their presence reinforced communal strategies for resilience. Unseen scurries might fade with light, their softness a nocturnal companion that dwellers accepted as part of the ecosystem. Danger lurked in the unknown, but familiarity with these sounds bred confidence. Allow the echo of this primal vigilance to settle gently, evoking prehistoric harmony. As the rumble subsided into silence, dwellers might reflect on the event, integrating it into oral lore shared by firelight later. Primal warning system of sounds like these ensured longevity, passing knowledge to the young through mimicry and tales. Soft scurries, when investigated, could yield insights into animal behaviors, enriching understanding of the wild. Danger's auditory form kept the group dynamic, always evolving with the landscape. The rhythm of their lives hummed with this subtle alertness, inviting serene contemplation. Moreover, the distant rumble might synchronize with weather patterns, its frequency increasing during monsoons, guiding seasonal adjustments in habitation. Rock slides, though hazardous, renewed soils for foraging, their warnings a dual-edged harbinger of change. The soft scurry added texture to the cave's quiet, a living pulse that dwellers monitored without obsession. Primal responses evolved into cultural practices, perhaps rituals to appease the earth's rumbles. Feel this connection to natural cycles deepen your immersion, a gentle flow. The warning of a rumble prompted unity as dwellers huddled to listen, their collective ears amplifying detection in the cavern's acoustics. Such sounds bridged isolation, reminding them of the interconnected web beyond the cave walls. Unseen creature scurries fostered curiosity, leading to discoveries of new passages or resources. Danger framed by these auditory signals became manageable through experience. The rhythm of their lives, marked by these moments, whispered of balanced existence. The almost imperceptible breath of the cave itself manifested as a subtle whoosh of air currents, weaving through its labyrinthine passages, a gentle inhalation and exhalation that made the vast chamber feel like a living entity pulsing with the earth's quiet vitality. Dwellers attuned to this breath learned to interpret its nuances, where a slight shift in direction might signal changing weather outside, or the stirring of underground streams guiding their decisions on when to venture forth. This living chamber, carved by eons of water and wind, held echoes of forgotten histories in its stone folds, from ancient animal inhabitants to the faint imprints of earlier human passages now lost to time. The breath's imperceptibility required stillness to detect, a soft susurration that blended with the dweller's own respirations, fostering a profound connection to the space they called home. Echoing these histories, the cave's air carried whispers of past events, perhaps the residual vibrations from long ago rituals or migrations that lingered in the rocks. Memory, this breath animated the vast expanse, turning static stone into a dynamic companion that dwellers respected as part of their extended kin, its rhythm sensing with daily routines like a silent metronome. Forgotten histories embedded in TH. E-walls might include mineral deposits from ancient floods, their formations influencing how the breath flowed through narrower tunnels or open vaults. The almost imperceptible quality invited introspection, as dwellers paused in quieter moments to feel the air's movement against their skin, blending sensation with sound in the dim light. Living as it did, the chamber responded to external pressures, its breath strengthening during storms or softening in calm, always echoing the world's unseen forces. The rhythm of their lives intertwined with this subtle respiration, a calming presence that underscored their place within nature's grand design. Yet, the cave's breath could carry subtle warnings, a faint alteration in its whoosh alerting to potential collapses or gas accumulations, drawing on forgotten histories of geological shifts that shaped survival strategies. Dwellers might position vents or openings to enhance this breath, ensuring fresh air circulation in deeper recesses where stagnation posed risks. This vast living entity enveloped them in security, its echoes preserving snippets of vocalizations or tool sounds from generations prior. Like auditory fossils in the stone, the imperceptible breath fostered a sense of continuity, linking present inhabitants to those who came before. Their stories breathed into the air's flow. Echoing such histories, the chamber became a repository of human endurance, gentle and eternal in its quiet vitality. In meditative states, dwellers might align their breaths with the caves, the almost imperceptible harmony promoting rest and healing amid the challenges of prehistoric existence. Forgotten histories surfaced in dreams inspired by this living rhythm, perhaps visions of ancestral feats that influenced cave art or tool innovations. The vast chamber's scale amplified the breath's subtlety, creating microclimates where warmer pockets contrasted cooler drafts, guiding sleeping arrangements echoing through time. This breath connected the cave to broader subterranean networks, hinting at unexplored depths with faint, distant whooshes. The rhythm of their lives, breathed in unison with the stone, offered a soothing testament to adaptation and harmony. The cave's breath, though almost imperceptible, infused the space with life, its gentle currents carrying scents of earth and moisture that dwellers associated with home and stability. Living histories echoed in the way air moved around stalactites, perhaps dislodging tiny particles that added a faint rustle to the whoosh, reminders of ongoing formation. Dwellers harness this breath for practical ends like drying hides or dispersing smoke. Its flow a natural ally in daily tasks. The vastness of the chamber allowed the breath to swirl in patterns, echoing forgotten paths taken by wind through fissures high above. This subtle animation deepened their bond to the environment, a quiet symphony of existence without fanfare. Consider how the breath preserved forgotten histories, as their pockets trapped ancient pollens or spores, their release evoking scents from bygone eras that dwellers inhaled unknowingly. The almost imperceptible nature sharpened senses, training ears to detect variations that signaled seasonal changes or animal intrusions. This living chamber pulsed with understated energy, its echoes weaving a tapestry of time where each whoosh layered upon the last. Dwellers might ritualize this breath, incorporating it into breathing exercises that calm the mind before hunts or gatherings. The rhythm of their lives, sustained by this gentle flow, whispered of resilience in the face of isolation. Cave's vast interior breathed with a subtlety that belied its power, echoing histories through currents that had witnessed the rise and fall of ice ages. And species alike, imperceptible to outsiders, this breath became intimate knowledge for the dwellers, guiding ventilation improvements or escape route planning in emergencies. Forgotten echoes might include the faint resonances of early earthquakes, their vibrations carried forward in the air's memory, living as a chamber of secrets. The cave's breath connected surface and depth, a conduit for the world's hidden dialogues. This almost silent respiration invited a profound peace, aligning human pulses with geological time. As air circulated through hidden vents, the breath's echo carried fragments of forgotten histories. Perhaps the molecular traces of fires kindled by Neanderthal kin in shared spaces long ago. Dwellers responded to its imperceptibility by heightening awareness, using the whoosh to navigate in total darkness when lights failed. The vast living expanse fostered creativity, as the breath's patterns inspired rhythmic patterns in art or music precursors. Echoing with depth, this breath underscored the cave's role as protector and muse. Gentle in its constancy, the rhythm of their lives flowed with this air, a calming undercurrent of belonging. Or the cave's breath might intensify during barometric shifts, its almost imperceptible changes foretelling storms that dwellers heeded for safety. Forgotten histories breathed life into myths, where the whoosh was personified as ancestral spirits guarding the chamber. This vast entity enveloped them in a cocoon of soundless motion, echoing the earth's slow heartbeat through stone veins. Living echoes persisted in the way air refreshed stagnant corners, sustaining habitability over extended occupations. The subtle breath added layers to the caves. Embrace, a soothing essence of antiquity. The imperceptible breath of the cave wove forgotten histories into its fabric, each current a thread linking past dwellers to the present through shared atmospheric inheritance. Vast in scope, the chamber's living quality manifested in how the whoosh interacted with human exhalations, creating micro-eddies of warmth. Echoing subtly, this breath provided acoustic baselines for detecting intrusions, honing survival edges without alarm. Dwellers might channel it for cooling in warmer climes, its flow a natural regulator of comfort. This almost silent vitality deepened the prehistoric bond, gentle and profound. The soothing, repetitive sway of gentle winds through the trees outside the cave entrance created a rhythmic lull, as if the prehistoric landscape itself were breathing in quiet harmony with the night falling over. A secluded valley, dwellers emerging briefly beyond the walls to gather the last of the evening's resources, but filled this motion in the rustle of leaves and branches, a soft undulation that mimicked the cave's own subtle breaths but expanded into the open air. The ASMR-like quality came from the soft lapping of a nearby stream against smooth stones, its repetitive flow a calming constant that washed away the day's exertions without demand. Distant crickets began their nocturnal chorus, their chirps a gentle backdrop that blended with the swaying foliage, evoking a sense of timeless peace in the gathering dusk. This natural symphony invited relaxation. the motion and sounds weaving together to ease the body into repose, far from the enclosed stone but still tethered to the cave's protective shadow. This repetitive motion outside the cave served as a bridge between the sheltered interior and the vast wilderness where winds carried scents of pine and earth. This way a reminder of nature's unhurried cycles that the dwellers observed with quiet reverence. The soft lapping of water, perhaps from a rain-fed brook meandering through the cove-like depression near the entrance, provided an auditory anchor, its gentle persistence mirroring the drip within but freer in the open. Crickets' distant calls, starting faintly as twilight deepened, added layers to the symphony, their rhythmic chirping a signal that the day had yielded to night's embrace. Dwellers might pause here, feeling the sway in their own postures as they returned with armfuls of wood or herbs, the motion soothing weary muscles. The rhythm of their lives extended into this external harmony, a gentle extension of survival into serenity. Yet the soothing sway was not without its subtle variations, as gusts occasionally intensified the rustle, blending with the lapping waves to create a textured ASMR experience that grounded the dwellers in the present moment. In this quiet valley setting, the motion evoked a sense of anchoring, much like roots holding firm against the breeze, providing stability amid the prehistoric world's uncertainties. Distant crickets, their sounds carrying across the open space, fostered a communal feel even in solitude, as if the insects were guardians of the night. This repetitive pattern encouraged deep breathing, aligning human inhales with the wind's flow, promoting a natural unwind after labors. Allow this outdoor lull to unfold in your mind, its gentleness a counterpoint to the cave's depths. The gentle rocking motion of the landscape under wind's influence highlighted adaptation, as dwellers chose cave sites near such sheltered coves for their protective qualities. This way a natural barrier against harsher elements, soft lapping from the stream invited reflections on water's role in life, its repetitive sound a meditative hum that echoed the group's quiet conversations upon return. Crickets' distant symphony grew in volume subtly, their chirps a soothing repetition that marked seasonal shifts without alarm. This ASMR essence lay in the interplay, where sway, lap, and chirp converged to dissolve tension, easing the transition to rest. The rhythm of their lives, swaying with nature, whispered of interconnected peace. In moments of stillness, the repetitive motion became almost hypnotic. The wind swayed through vegetation, a visual and auditory balm that dwellers savored. Before retreating inside, the soft lapping, consistent yet varied by pebble placements, added a tactile imagination, as if one could feel the cool water's edge. Distant crickets provided a coral layer, their gentle persistence a reminder of life's continuity beyond human scales. This soothing outdoor scene balanced the cave's enclosure, offering expansion for the spirit while maintaining security. Feel this natural rocking settle over you, a prelude to deeper calm. Consider how this repetitive sway fostered environmental attunement, as dwellers timed outings to coincide with calmer winds, the motion a guide for safe passage. The ASMR of lapping waters cleansed the senses, washing away dust from the day's pots with its soft insistence. Crickets' distant calls, evolving from sporadic to steady, signaled the world settling, inviting the group to mirror this in their own winding down. Gentle in its repetition, this symphony beyond the walls enriched the prehistoric experience, blending motion with sound for holistic repose. The rhythm of their lives pulsed softly here in nature's embrace, the soothing quality amplified in twilight, the sway of branches casting long shadows that danced with the lapping stream's reflections, an ASMR tapestry for the eyes and ears. Dwellers attuned to these cues found solace in the motion's predictability, a contrast to hunting's variables. Distant crickets added depth, their gentle chirping a nocturnal invitation to release the day's hold. This repetitive harmony encouraged communal pauses, where the group lingered briefly outside before entering the cave. Allow this depiction to evoke tranquility, its elements converging in quiet unity. As winds gentled further, the motion subsided into subtler sways, the soft lapping a persistent whisper that lulled the landscape into hush. Crickets' distant presence grew comforting, their sounds a bridge to sleep's threshold without urgency. This soothing repetition outside the cave mirrored internal rhythms, easing the dwellers into night's fold with natural grace. The ASMR layers built a sensory cocoon, protective yet open to the stars above. The rhythm of their lives, rocking gently, invited a seamless drift. Moreover, this repetitive motion connected to foraging patterns. As sways revealed ripe fruits or hidden paths, the gentle undulation a subtle aid in sustenance. Soft lapping from the cove-like stream quenched thirsts, its sound a refreshing counter to arid days. Distant crickets with their unwavering chirps warded off loneliness, their presence a sonic companion in the wild. Soothing in essence, this symphony fostered resilience through relaxation, a vital pause. Feel the sways calm deepen your immersion. The gentle rocking of nature's elements beyond the walls provided a counterbalance to the cave stillness, the motion of a living pulse that dwellers respected as part of their domain. ASMR from lapping waters and swaying foliage blended seamlessly, creating a holistic unwind that prepared minds for dreams. Crickets' distant gentle calls completed the trio, their repetition a lullaby from the earth itself. This soothing scene encapsulated freedom within safety, their prehistoric luxury. The rhythm of their lives swayed onward, peaceful and profound. The sounds of the dwellers settling down for the night echoed softly within the cave, weary but peaceful exhaustion settling over the group as they arranged their bedding of hides and leaves in the dim glow of dying embers. Soft snores began to emerge from those first to succumb to fatigue, a gentle, rhythmic breathing that blended with the cave's ambient hush, signaling the end of the day's labors in foraging and crafting. Gentle movements rustled as others shifted into comfortable positions, the subtle scrape of bodies against the earthen floor, or animal skins a comforting assurance of shared presence in the enclosed space. Distant calls of a night watch, perhaps a low murmur or whistle from the sentry at the entrance, provided a vigilant undertone, ensuring safety without disrupting the emerging tranquility. This ASMR-like settling created a cocoon of rest where exhaustion transformed into renewal. The group's collective unwinding a prelude to dreams woven from the day's echoes. The weary dwellers, their bodies heavy from hours spent chipping tools or gathering roots, found solace in this peaceful routine. The soft snores a lullaby that invited others to join in slumber. Mid the cave's protective walls, gentle movements included the careful placement of young ones. With the warmth, their small shifts adding innocent layers to the auditory tapestry of repose. The night watch's distant calls, spaced intermittently to check for threats like prowling animals, carried a reassuring cadence, their subtlety maintaining the balance between alertness and relaxation. Exhaustion's peace was palpable as muscles relaxed and minds drifted. The settling sounds a testament to the band's resilience in an unforgiving world. The rhythm of their lives eased into this nocturnal harmony, a gentle descent into restorative quiet. Yet, in this settling, the soft snores varied in depth, from the deeper resonances of elders to the lighter breaths of the young, creating a natural chorus that filled the chamber. Without overwhelming its silence, gentle movements might include adjusting a hide blanket or turning away from a draft, each wrestling a minor note in the symphony of unwinding after survival's demands. Distant calls from the watch, perhaps imitating bird sounds for discretion, wove security into the fabric of exhaustion, allowing the group to release the day's tensions fully. This peaceful transition highlighted human adaptability, turning weariness into a shared ritual of recovery under the stone canopy allowed this depiction to evoke the subtle comfort of communal rest, soothing as the snores themselves. The sounds of settling embodied exhaustion's gentle embrace, where soft snores signaled the body surrendered to needed repair, fostering a sense of unity as the cave enveloped them all. Gentle movements, deliberate and minimal to avoid disturbance, reflected the dwellers' innate courtesy in tight quarters, their rustles fading as stillness took hold. The night watch's distant calls served as anchors, their low tones a reminder of ongoing guardianship that permitted peaceful slumber for the rest, weary from the primal grind. This moment of settling renewed spirits, preparing for tomorrow's rhythms in the quiet depths. The rhythm of their lives, now hushed, invited a deeper relaxation amid the ancient echoes. In the heart of this peaceful exhaustion, soft snores intertwined with breaths, creating an ASMR backdrop that lulled even the restless into ease. Caves are carrying these sounds softly through the space. Gentle movements included the occasional stretch or sigh, releasing the last vestiges of the day's strain in subtle harmony with the group's collective unwind. Distant calls from the watch, faint and rhythmic, blended vigilance with repose, ensuring no abrupt intrusions shattered the tranquility. This settling process underscored the dwellers' harmony with one another, weariness binding them in mutual dependence. Feel this auditory unwind deepen. The prehistoric night, a gentle flow toward dreams. Consider how the weary settling sounds fostered emotional bonds. Soft snores, a sign of trust in the group's safety, allowing vulnerabilities to surface in the peaceful dimness. Gentle movements, like repositioning for warmth, added tactile intimacy to the auditory scene, each rustling a whisper of contentment after exertion. The night watch's distant calls provided structure, their spacing a measured beat that synchronized with the exhaustion's ebb. Peaceful in its simplicity, this ritual transformed fatigue into strength, a cornerstone of survival cycle. The rhythm of their lives paused here in soothing suspension. The dwellers' exhaustion manifested in layered sounds, soft snores building gradually as more succumbed, creating a symphony of rest that enveloped the cave like a warm fog. Gentle movements tapered off, their initial rustles giving way to immobility, marking the full embrace of peaceful slumber. Distant calls, ever watchful, faded in frequency as the night deepened, their gentleness preserving the sanctity of rest. This weary transition highlighted endurance, where the day's toils yielded to night's gift of recovery. Allow the soft cadence to settle over you, evoking ancient repose. As settling progressed, the peaceful exhaustion deepened with overlapping soft snores, a harmonious drone that signaled the band's descent into collective sleep within the stone haven. Gentle movements became rarer, each one a final adjustment before stillness reigned. The rustles a fading echo of activity. The night watch's distant calls, low and sporadic, wove assurance into the air, allowing weariness to fully claim its due. This ASMR essence lay in the subtlety, exhaustion's peace, a balm for body and soul alike. The rhythm of their lives, now at rest, whispered of tomorrow's renewal. Moreover, in this settling, soft snores serve as a barometer of health, their steady patterns reassuring in the peaceful quiet after their primal day's end. Gentle movements included tender gestures like a hand on a kin's shoulder, adding emotional depth to the auditory unwind. Distant calls maintained the perimeter, their gentleness a counterpoint to the exhaustion's pull toward oblivion. Where yet content, the dwellers embraced this moment, forging strength from shared vulnerability. Feel the soothing layers build, a prehistoric lullaby. The sounds of weary settling encapsulated peaceful exhaustion, soft snores and gentle movements blending into a tapestry of rest that the cave amplified softly. Distant calls anchored the scene, their vigilance enabling the group's full surrender to sleep's embrace. This ritual, born of necessity, fostered profound bonds, turning fatigue into a communal sanctuary. The rhythm of their lives eased into silence, inviting serene drift. The slow fading of sounds within the prehistoric cave ushered in a profound hush, as the dwellers' soft snores and occasional shifts gradually diminished, allowing the listener to drift toward a deep, restful sleep enveloped by the ancient stone walls that had sheltered countless generations. Along gentle waves of air currents, whispering through the cavern's fissures like a distant ocean sigh, carried the last remnants of the day's echoes into oblivion, their subtle whoosh blending with the fading rustles of settling bodies. Distant wind chimes, imagining the soft tinkling of loose pebbles stirred by drafts or the occasional drip from Overhead added a melodic farewell, their faint notes scattering like stars dimming at dawn. As these sounds receded, the cave's profound silence emerged fully, a comforting void that invited the mind to release its hold on wakefulness. Easing into dreams rooted in the earth's timeless embrace, this fading auditory tapestry mirrored nature's own retreat, the external symphony beyond the walls softened to match the internal repose, guiding the listener deeper into tranquility. In this gradual dissolution, the prolonged gentle waves of cave breath persisted longest, their almost imperceptible flow a final lullaby that synchronized with slowing heartbeats, fostering a sense of unity with the living rock. Distant chimes, evoked by the subtle vibrations of settling dust or far-off water trickles, tapered into sporadic whispers, each one a gentle nudge toward surrender in the dimming glow of embers. The slow fading encapsulated the day's end, where exhaustion's peace transformed into restorative quiet, the ancient timbers metaphorical and the stone's enduring form cradling the group. Like a mother's arms, listeners immersed in this ASMR descent felt tensions unravel. The sounds retreat, creating space for subconscious wanderings amid forgotten histories. Etched in the walls, the rhythm of their lives, now hushed to near stillness, promised renewal with the coming light, a cycle as old as humanity itself. Yet, as the fading progressed, prolonged gentle waves merged with the cave's inherent silence, their persistence yielding to the vast chamber's quiet dominion, allowing deep sleep to claim its domain without resistance. Distant wind chimes, faint and ethereal, dissolved into memory, their last tinkles a poetic closure to the nocturnal transition, leaving only the essence of peace in their wake. This slow attenuation of sounds honored the dwellers' resilience. Their primal world outside blended seamlessly with the inner sanctuary, easing the listener into profound rest. Midst the ancient timbers of stone and shadow, the fading invited reflection on survival's gentle cadence, a soothing release from vigilance into vulnerability. The narrative of the night, woven from these diminishing notes, culminated in serenity, preparing the spirit for tomorrow's subtle symphony. The prolonged gentle waves, carrying hints of external breezes through the entrance, faded like a receding tide, their softness a bridge to the dream realm where prehistoric echoes lingered in subconscious forms. Distant chimes, perhaps the imagined resonance of wind through nearby foliage or cave crystals, grew ever scarcer, their delicate fade enhancing the ASMR immersion into total calm. As sounds ebbed to silence, the deep restful sleep enveloped all. Cave's ancient presence a guardian that muffled the world's intrusions with effortless grace. Listeners drifted alongside the dwellers, fading a meditative journey that dissolved boundaries between past and present, fostering a shared sense of eternal peace. This culmination underscored the beauty and simplicity, where the slow retreat of auditory elements paved the way for rejuvenation. Amid the stone's timeless hold, in the heart of this fading, prolonged gentle waves whispered their final passages, merging with the cave's breath to create a seamless slide into oblivion. The listener's thoughts unmoored and free to wander. Distant wind chimes, subtle and fleeting, offered one last harmonious sigh before vanishing, their absence amplifying the profound silence that cradled deep sleep like a woven nest. Amidst the ancient timbers of geological memory, this slow dissolution brought closure to the day's sonic tale, inviting a restful immersion that healed body and mind alike. The fading sounds evoked gratitude for the cave shelter, a gentle reminder of life's rhythmic flow from activity to repose. The rhythm of their lives, now fully at rest, echoed faintly in dreams, a soothing continuum. The slow fading of all auditory traces allowed the prolonged gentle waves to linger as a ghost of motion, their eventual hush a portal to the deepest layers of sleep, where ancient instincts found solace. Distant chimes dissolved into the ether, their final notes a tender adieu that enhanced the ASMR quality of the transition, leaving the cave in pristine quietude. As the listener drifted amidst these vanishing elements, the ancient timbers symbolic of the enduring rock provided a stable foundation for restful oblivion. free from the day's demands. This process honored prehistoric harmony where silence became the ultimate symphony, nurturing the soul's quiet regeneration. The narrative's close and fading sounds invited eternal peace, a gentle invitation to embrace the night fully. Prolonged gentle waves echoing the external world's lapping streams in muted form, faded with graceful inevitability, their retreat paving the way for a sleep as deep as the cavern's hidden depths. Distant wind chimes, imagined or real in the breeze, play on entrance vines. Tapered to nothingness, their absence a profound comfort that amplified the restful void. Midst the ancient timbers of stone, the listener's drift became effortless, the slow fading a meditative dissolution of consciousness into restorative dreams. This ASMR culmination wove peace from the threads of silence, reminding of the dweller's simple yet profound existence in tune with nature, the rhythm of their lives. Silence for the night promised a gentle awakening, eternal in its cycle. As the fading reached its zenith, prolonged gentle waves hushed to imperceptibility, their legacy a lingering calm that enveloped the deep sleep like a soft fog over ancient landscapes. Distant chimes vanished completely, their ethereal tones surrendering to the cave's sovereign silence, creating an ideal canvas for restful immersion without distraction. The listener, adrift in this auditory ebb, found unity with the prehistoric dwellers, the ancient timbers standing sentinel over shared repose. This slow transition celebrated life's quiet victories, where exhaustion yielded to healing in the stone's embrace. The narrative faded alongside, a soothing close to the sonic journey through time. Rover in this final fade, prolonged gentle waves blended into the cave's breath, their prolonged gentleness a farewell that guided the listener into profound, uninterrupted sleep amid the echoes of antiquity. Distant wind chimes, once subtle accents, dissolved into memory, enhancing the ASMR depth of the silence that now reigned supreme. Midst the ancient timbers, the drift to rest became complete, a harmonious end to the day's hidden sounds and a promise of renewal. This process evoked the timeless bond between human and habitat, gentle in its inevitability, the rhythm of their lives now in full repose, whispered of enduring calm. The slow fading culminated in total silence, where prolonged gentle waves and distant chimes yielded to the cave's eternal hush, allowing deep restful sleep to flourish amidst the ancient stone's protective veil. Listeners felt the pull of this ASMR retreat, their own breaths aligning with the dwellers in imagined solidarity, drifting into dreams unburdened by the world. This auditory dissolution wrapped the prehistoric tale in peace, a gentle coda to the symphony of survival. Midst the timbers of time, the fading invited reflection on humanity's roots, soothing and profound. The journey through sounds now complete left only serenity in its wake. As we draw this auditory journey through the prehistoric cave to a gentle close, let the echoes of ancient sounds fade into the comforting silence of your own surroundings, bridging the vast expanse of time with a sense of shared humanity. The dweller's world filled with the subtle rustles, crackles, and hums that define their survival reminds us of a simpler existence where every noise carried the weight of life itself, unadorned by the clamor of modernity. In contrast to our present comforts, soft beds, steady warmth, and the security of enclosed homes, their lives pulsed with the raw rhythm of nature, yet offered moments of profound peace amid the stone's embrace. Reflect quietly on how these lost symphonies shaped our ancestors, fostering resilience and connection that echo faintly in our own quiet evenings. Allow this reflection to settle like a soft blanket, easing any lingering thoughts as you drift toward rest. The past a soothing companion in the night, the hidden sounds of the cave dweller's daily life, from the rhythmic chipping of tools to the cave's own breathing, paint a tapestry of endurance and adaptation, one that invites us to appreciate the tranquility found in simplicity. As the fire's crackle dims and the distant rumbles subside, imagine the dwellers themselves surrendering to sleep, their weary forms nestled in the earth's natural cradle far removed from our illuminated nights. This contrast highlights the luxury of our modern repose, where artificial lights and digital hums often drown out the subtle symphonies that once guided human existence. Yet, in reclaiming these ancient acoustics through imagination, we find a gentle path to unwind, letting the weight of the day dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Embrace this thoughtful wrap-up as an invitation to release the historical whispers fading to allow your mind its well-earned wander into dreams. In the quiet aftermath of our exploration, the prehistoric soundscape serves as a lullaby from the depths of time, reminding us that survival's essence lies in attuning to the world's subtle cues, much like we now attune to the rhythm of our breathing in this moment of calm. The cave, with its profound silences and occasional blinks, offered a sanctuary where life unfolded at nature's pace, a far cry from the hurried tempo of contemporary days filled with notifications and schedules. This gentle reflection encourages gratitude for the progress that has softened our edges, providing shelters that echo with personal comforts rather than primal necessities. As the final notes of nature's symphony beyond the walls blend into oblivion, feel the ancient timber stone guardians of history release their hold, guiding you toward a deep, untroubled slumber. Let this conclusion be your bridge to rest. Past calm legacy enveloping you in peaceful closure. With the sounds now fully faded, consider how the dweller's auditory world, though distant, connects us through the universal need for quietude and connection, the thread that weaves through every era of human story. In our present, surrounded by the soft hum of familiar spaces and the absence of lurking dangers, we can savor this inherited peace, free from the constant vigilance that marked their nights. This wrap-up offers a moment to ponder the evolution of sound in our lives, from survival signals to sources of relaxation, fostering a deeper appreciation for the silence that follows. As you imagine the cave sealing its echoes for another dawn, allow your own environment to mirror that serenity, the weight of history lifting to make way for personal renewal. Drift now into the comfort of sleep, the journey complete, with the gentle assurance that tomorrow holds its own quiet rhythms. The prehistoric cave dweller's hidden symphony, unveiled layer by layer, leaves us with a sense of wonder at the intricate auditory fabric that sustained early humanity, now preserved in the annals of time for our contemplation. Contrasting their exposed existence with our insulated comforts, warm lights, secure doors, and the luxury of uninterrupted rest highlights the profound advancements that have quieted the primal alarms in our daily lives. This thoughtful closing invites you to carry a fragment of that ancient calm forward, letting it infuse your evenings with a subtle, soothing presence amid modern distractions. As the final reflections settle, feel the pull of repose strengthen, the narratives in the soft gateway to your own night's embrace. Rest well in this shared legacy, the sounds of the past, a fading whisper toward tranquil dreams.